everyone, and welcome to another episode of Care About Wrestling. I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and as usual, I have an excellent show for you in store tonight. First of all, I'm going to tell you about our sister shows here on 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, which is Combat and Island Main Event Tuesday, so make sure you check those out. Like and subscribe, leave some comments. We love that so much. Please, like, subscribe, and leave. Also, you think you got what it takes to be a wrestler? Why don't you check out the Pro Wrestling Academy right from Victoria? It's pretty rad, and it's going to test you. And if you think you got the stuff, you should definitely check it out. All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring in our guest for the evening. I can say that they are probably without a doubt the baddest family in 365. And from Oakland Valley, California, we've got the Caines family coming up. Damien, how you guys doing? Good to see you guys. So happy to have you join me tonight. Are you? Yeah, I got some questions. Your fans have some questions. I'm presuming you knew you were signed for an interview show here, so let's just get into it. How do you guys feel about that?
Good.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's start out with kind of your 365, or maybe even just your wrestling origins. Like, how did it all get started for you?
Well, I'd say more or less I was wandering through the desert and I came across a stand that was like a table in the middle of the desert out in Wonder Valley, and it was full of jars, and there was a woman standing there, and that was Sadie, and it was just a wooden table with a bunch of dead snakes around it, and she said I should become a wrestler. Well, at least I think that's what she said. But she had fed me something, and at the time I didn't know what it was. But she had been wringing the snakes out into the jars, and I don't remember the next couple months. But all of a sudden, I was a wrestler, and once she was able to get her visa, apparently you still need a visa if you're a Mennonite, like Sadie is. Former Mennonite.
Former.
Okay. Then she was able to come join me in Canada, where we're what's known as sandbirds. So we come to Canada for the winters, and we're what's known as sandbirds or sandpipers. Sandbirds, yeah. So and now we're here and we're wrestling.
It's probably the most original origin story I've ever heard. So I have many questions about what you just told me. If I could just shift over to me for a moment. Did you know that you were going to cause a wrestling thing to happen here? Was that your intention? Did you know Damien and you were like, he's going to be a wrestler, and then you just kind of made that happen?
Yeah, that's usually a side effect of drinking snake piss. That's what my stand was.
Oh, that was actually the question. What was the stuff that was
snake piss? It's a family business in the desert.
Okay.
It's a power hallucinogen. And visions of grandeur. So.
Okay. I'm kind of putting things together, I think. So that's pretty intense. So I don't know very many people that have come to wrestling personally that way, but I'm presuming you just told me other wrestlers have found their fame by consuming the snake.
No, I would say no.
No.
No, So, no,
No.
so a one-off,
Yeah, it was a one.
one time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So, okay, well, so when you became like when you came to the awareness that you were now a wrestler, was there any training involved at that point, or were you just already imbued with all of the wrestling knowledge?
Well, snakes do wrestle. Um, they don't really have like arms or legs, but they wrestle. They move around each other. So I think that's where the wrestling came from. Um, yeah, I don't wrestle like most wrestlers. I was trained by Sadie, who had never actually, because she was a Mennonite, she'd never actually seen wrestling, seen it on TV. Now I don't even know. I don't think she'd been to a wrestling show.
No, it's the lore of the community,
Yeah.
the tales of passerbys, and you just hear about it and um, you imagine what a suplex is. You
Yeah.
don't know.
This is fascinating. This is so. Are there more than one type of snake involved? Can any snake do this? Like, is it a specific type of snake that would have this type of effect? Do you think, or do you?
Any kind of snake. Typically you have to be patient and you have to watch. It's not common.
No, I understand. So this is like is this like a so are you actually from Wonder Valley? Is that where you're from, Stadium? Is this where this is also the place in Wonder Valley? Okay. So do you train other people to do this part of it, safe, or is this like a family thing and it's only in your family? Or just you?
This I was a bit of the black sheep. Um, People didn't generally leave the colony. I chose to leave and pursue this in Canada.
That's I'd be curious to find out what the customs conversation was like for sure. Like, yeah, I think yeah, probably another conversation for another time. But so the thing is that when I first started coming to 365 Pro Wrestling about a year and a half or so ago, Sadie, you were there, you were ringside, you had pain, and sometimes things happen with the chain, with people in the ring, outside of the ring, that sort of thing. But like last, a couple weeks ago, I saw you in a very different kind of match where it was a very different level of participation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious about your journey from just a chain wielding wingman to like what you are now, which seems almost like a tag team. Would you guys agree?
Um, I wasn't initially. I was very much behind the scenes. I'm not much of a showman. But find that there's a lot of opportunity that wasn't being taken in the ring. Um, the chain is very similar to my comfort with holding a snake and rigging it out. So it was a very familiar object to go with. There was some issues about bringing in a taxidermy snake. There were some questions and whether or not that was ethical. So we opted for the chain, of course, for some family roots. But yeah, opportunity and seizing the moments when you see that there's some people on the side, it almost seems unfair that they're not being choked.
Well put, well put. So, Dean, you as well were involved in this hardcore match, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I saw you sort of encountering various, I don't know, injuries, I guess. So tell me kind of what happened to you that night or the pain you might have inflicted on others.
Um, I, um, I I came in with a very distinct plan. Sadie comes up with most of our plans, but most of her plans, they come in her dreams. So she speaks them to me, but she speaks them to me in a series of clicks, like Morse code. So I have to write down the clicks, and then once I've deciphered all that, it will tell me what to do in the match. Um, I was actually um, supposed to win that match according to the clicks from the Morse code, but something happened and I got hit with a television, um, and which I was already bleeding. I had a lot of blood in my eyes at that point in time, but unfortunately, I couldn't really see when Sadie got picked up by Lack and dropped on some thumbtacks. And I mean, of course, she didn't fight back because legally she's not allowed to. Her hands are registered as snake handling weapons. So she wasn't allowed to attack him. She can only use a chain. She can't use her fists because if she used her fists, she would go to prison. Um, and it's weird actually because when we did come across the border, you were talking about before about customs. So I seemed to get a secondary screening and a third screening through customs, but she was able to walk through customs with a backpack that had 37 dead snakes in it. So I think maybe she's able to work through silence and just kind of pass through things.
Like she moves in the shadows. I feel there's a bit of that going on.
Definitely.
I love that. So are you, so I kind of alluded that you guys might be a tag team, but you're saying no, that's not really the direction you're going. It's just, you
And
know,
until we can get her bare hands unregistered as weapons,
that's the only way that it could ever happen.
that's the only way that it could ever happen
Okay.
because he is far too dangerous. You might think that a 270-pound man is the dangerous one in this group, but it's actually Sadie. She taught me everything she knows through a series of clicks and snake secretions. So she's the master, and I'm merely the student at this point in time.
That's fair. That's fair. So I mean, do you really have any like scores you're looking to settle with anybody in particular right now on 365?
Mm,
I'm not very happy with Ramon Carlton.
yeah, I think Sadie was upset he hit me with the television. Um,
Yes, yeah.
I tend to meditate for about 7 to 8 hours daily, so I don't usually hold grudges with people, but
I do.
she does definitely. My violence is a type of therapy, like a joy based violence. So I never really have any scores to settle, or I never really feel any anger towards people, whether it be Eddie Osborne stapling barbed wire to my face or something. That's just his journey, man. And he's got to take it, you know. And just like we all got to take our journey.
That is an incredibly chill attitude. I really like that. It's very contrary to who you are in the ring. I find you're a little more, and here you seem very laid back. So I kind of like that contrast.
Mhm.
So it's giving me some chill vibes. I love it. Um, so straight up, what's the craziest match you've ever been involved in?
Let me think that. That last one was pretty interesting. I had never been. Um, I don't think either of us had landed on a bunch of thumbtacks before, so that was interesting.
Not the Brett Matthews one with I'm
Oh,
just surprised he was a communist.
that was really fun. Yeah, when we found out Brett was a communist,
That
and
was
we
a
had
surprise.
that was a big surprise considering what he posts on the internet. And I always kind of knew Brett was a psyop and a pinko, and I just never really said anything because, I get it. Like, full head of hair, you're living life. And that was a really fun match because we found the Communist Manifesto, and then Sadie got to jump off the top rope, even though if a cop had seen that, she would have been arrested immediately. But I think that was just very memorable for us as a family because we got to expose somebody.
Mhm. But do not roll that clip because we don't want to have any visual evidence of what happened there. So
You could potentially roll the clip as long as if you put I don't know, somebody doesn't really matter. Max Benson, you could put Max Benson's face over Katie's face. And
I'll
then,
go with them. I'll go with that. All right, so I'm going to take a little commercial break here, but don't go anywhere. You guys can go anywhere. You guys can go anywhere on YouTube land. We will be right back with more Canada wrestling and Caines Family. And we are back with more Canada wrestling. And tonight, I guess the Caines family, Damien and Sadie Caines. So it's a little group this evening. He festive. Is that a Christmas flexi in the background there? Oh, was that a knife?
No,
Was that her trimming the tree?
what tree?
I thought I saw a tree in the background. Maybe I'm.
Is there a tree here?
plant.
No, it's a snake plant.
Oh,
A tree. It's
That's a snow.
oh, that's a snake plant?
It's a snake plant.
Okay, what is that?
It's a need to know.
Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't have proper security level in my home to know what that is. So I'm assuming it's one of Sadie's many projects.
no, I'm totally good with that. Yeah.
I tend not.
So just talked about kind of craziest match. What about injuries? Have you ever had any like super significant injuries? Either of you getting thrown in thumbtacks? Maybe.
Um, not really.
You, he landed on
Oh,
the chair.
yes. Okay.
And, the chair snapped. It was at eye level. And
Yes.
I watched as a piece of the chair slit through his arm and through his back.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
A lot there.
I got body slammed onto a chair by Mr. Osborne, and
The chair wasn't supposed to break.
the chair broke, and I was impaled um, in the back. But it was fine. Yeah, no, it was just just another bump along the road, and we learned from it, and we move on.
And you've healed since then, I'm presuming.
Oh yeah, great. I'm 40 years old, but I'm getting stronger by the day. Sadie's taught me all about desert yoga. It's a lot of snake related positions, but I've been doing desert yoga every day for the past month. Um, and it's been very good for my body.
I can imagine that that would make you very like bendy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good, right? If you don't feel you break. That's what
Yeah. Well, I used to have a bad back, but technically snakes are all back. So now I don't from the snake yoga.
Yeah. You could say they have a long back, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
So what about entrance music? I love music. What music do you walk into essentially?
We come into a song called Sledgehammer, and it's by a band from Vancouver Island here called Mendoza. In one of my previous lives, I went on tour with them a couple of times, and I just like loud, sludgy music. At one point, we came out to a song I had written, and maybe we'll do that again one day. But for right now, Sadie says this is the right move until she says my range isn't like my voice isn't like the range in the song is needs to be perfected before we can do it. She's giving me vocal lessons as well, so
It's his tone.
my tone, yeah,
Sorry, did you say his tone or his tone?
tone,
Both of them.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I understand. That's pretty cool though, like that you wrote a song that you go to, like walked into a song, but I think that's
Hmm.
so not a lot of wrestlers do that. They don't imagine. I think that's not use other people's music, which is cool too. But I think there's something insanely cool about writing your own music to work with too. Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. So do you have a finishing move?
I have a few, um, because even though I wasn't actually um like trained per se, I did find a cassette tape in the middle of the desert one time out in Wonder Valley, and there happened to be a VCR in a trailer that was half burnt, and we hooked up the generator and we watched it, and it was an old ECW tape,
The
and
first time I ever saw a VHS, the tape.
yes, and I learned my finisher from that, and it's when I kick someone in the side of the head when they're standing up, and I'm also standing up. Uh, and I don't have a name for it, but
I used to call it praying mantis, but now that I understand there's terminology with it, it makes a lot more sense.
yeah, we didn't really want to go too LaRusso with it, like Karate Kid. But I was before I was picked up by City, I was uh, a very overweight teenage boy who did karate, so I was able to do kicks. So kicks came quite naturally to me. Another one of my favorite wrestlers from the VHS tape I found in the sand was a guy named Taz. And so now I try to do suplexes like Taz did. And yeah, and then um, there was a guy named Ron Simmons who was in WCW, and he did a spine buster that was like a flapjack. And I said, whoa, that's really cool. And Taz did them like that too. So I do those as well. But most of the time, it's just whatever invades her dreams, and then I put to paper. Those are most of the things I'm allowed to do.
Right, right. Is there a time like during the match where she's like clicking at you real time and telling you what to do like in that moment?
No, because usually when she comes to the ring, she's eating either a bag of chips or a box of Girl Guide cookies. We tried to smoke some cigarettes, and Ronnie got mad at us, so we couldn't smoke cigarettes in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Sadie's aware that her primary objective and my primary objective is not to win or to lose, but to have a good time together as a married couple who hurts people. And so that's what we do. So there's like when we're out there together, she doesn't say anything to me. Really, she doesn't say too much. No clicking, no clicks. You know what that means? That means it's okay. We can go back. That means that. But there's none of that. I just, I give her chance to hurt somebody, and then She watches me hurt somebody, and then we get to hold hands after that, and we get to talk about snakes for a while. It's really fun.
I get a very Nikki and Mallory vibe off you guys. I'm into it. I'm not
Uh,
gonna lie. Um,
were they?
More that, oh yeah, good one after. It's not that big of a deal. So hardest job in 365. Who has it?
Who?
Who has the hardest chop in 365? Is it you?
Mm,
These are pretty good.
mine are.
Yeah, I make him practice on me.
Yeah, I practiced on Sadie a fair amount. Um, Eddie shot me once, and I coughed up blood. So that was probably a pretty hard shot. But then Crofton shot me once, and my ear rung. So I mean, which one's harder? I don't know. The one that made me cough up blood, or the one that gave me slight hearing loss? You can't really. I don't think there's an answer to that. You'd probably have to put them like you'd have to get those ballistic gel torso things and then hit it and see how it reacted to really see who had the hardest shot. But I don't think that Trailer Park Mario and Luigi can afford one of those.
Probably not. Probably not. Yes. So what's next for you? What's the next show where people see you wrestling next?
Um, I I'm not sure. I'm assuming the next Victoria show or the next Suit show.
Duke on the 28th.
I messaged Eddie today, but he hasn't been getting back to me lately. I've been sending him a lot of pictures of things I found, like pictures of him, like cut out with his face on like an animal's body, and I've been sending a lot of those to him because Sadie told me that was how you like show somebody you respect them.
My favorite one.
So
He's got this one.
he hasn't been responding. No, I hope he's not upset with me, but I think he's. It's okay if he is. I get it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what he is thinking about when he's receiving these messages from you. Do you think he's intimidated? Do you think he's afraid to meet Lauren, maybe?
Well, there was one that was like it was like Eddie, and he was like smiling, and then he had wings like a bat, and his torso was like that of a. Do you know an African stork? So it's a type of stork, but it had like a crocodile's legs, and it was really beautiful. And there was a lot of like it was like a crown on top of it, and like a lot of lights behind it. It was very, very religious looking. Um, I don't know. I don't remember making it, but I just kind of woke up on at the table and it was in front of me. So I sent it to him. Um, I hope he liked it.
He's just
Maybe he's really flattered.
Yeah, he's probably going to take you a minute to like absorb the magnitude of it, the gravitas of your communication with him.
It was really beautiful, I think.
I wish you could see and we'll see.
No, you're not allowed. I'm sorry. Um, if you see it, we have to do something after that you probably wouldn't like. So, yeah.
No, I don't need to see them. It's all good. It's all good. Not need to see them.
I just don't. We usually, when people see it, then we have to take them somewhere, and just not everyone likes bowling. So
Did you say not everyone likes bowling?
yeah, bowling. So if you see the picture, we have to take you bowling, and it's just most people don't like that. They don't like to bowl with us. We never take off our sunglasses.
Right, right. I understand now. And the shoes they have to rent too. Some people don't like that either. So
I have really large feet, so it's hard for me to find bowling shoes. Um, but the guy at the bowling alley told me they didn't have my size, and then Sadie hit him with a plate of French fries, and so maybe we're not allowed back. I'm not sure. We haven't asked.
Well, I think that's actually no bad. Speaking of an adventure, we have to take another little 2 cent commercial break here, you guys. But don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Pro Wrestling Digest. You can, Claire, you can go ahead.
Is it okay?
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock?
5, 4. We are back. You're watching Hidden Book Wrestling. I'm here with the intern, and this evening we have Damien and Sadie Caines, the Caines family. So exciting. 2 segments ready, you guys. I can't believe it. We got one to go here. So, how do you feel when we talk about non wrestling related things now? You know?
That's fine. We can do that.
So, as we kind of alluded to earlier, you guys are both super into music. I'm super into music. We're multi musicians on the team, whatever. Tell me a bit about some of the musical projects that you have been and are currently involved in.
Well, we have um, what originally started out as a Yoko Ono cover band. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip of uh, John Lennon and Chuck Berry and Yoko Ono. Have you seen that clip?
I have indeed seen that clip.
Sadie was really inspired by that, so we kind of started doing something like that.
Where I just scream,
Yeah, she just kind of screamed, and
just intentionally ruining good things.
yeah, well, you made it better. So the band was called The Catcher in the Rye, and then there was a pending lawsuit because of it. Um, so they had to replace Sadie's screeching with a synthesizer. And then they gave me a guitar that they said I could play. And so there's a band called Evil exclamation mark. And we're kind of in that. We just kind of know the guys. They kind of look like us. So yeah, you might even say that we write the music for them, and then these two people who dress like us go to the show and play the set. But really, what we'd like to be doing is working on our Yoko Ono cover band, but we can't legally.
There seems like there's a lot of like legal constraints surrounding the both of you. This could be blocking you from destiny almost, would you say?
Well, Sadie's I'm a dual citizen, and Sadie is, I don't want to say an illegal, but
They didn't see me come in and they don't see me leave.
yeah. So nobody really pays attention. I don't know. She has this kind of like Rasputin thing going on where when she has a conversation with somebody, they generally forget that they ever spoke to her and then go home and put a bullet in their head. So nobody really asks any questions.
I'm been asking the questions.
Oh no, these questions are fine. It's just like, where are you going?
How
Where
long have you been here?
where are all those snakes? Do you have snake permits? What kind of snakes are those?
Have you used those hands recently?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So this is okay. We're doing I have across state lines.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Just
Maybe just give me a little signal if we're, getting close to an area I shouldn't be talking about. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to like, you know, I want to continue to, be around. So what else do you do when you're not wrestling? So like what other, so you got music, is there any other, there's snake, there's desert yoga we talked about.
yeah.
What things you guys are into?
So we both take pictures, which is kind of fun. We're both photographers. Um, Sadie, I don't know where she gets her. It's very weird. Hers are mostly pictures of like what kind of looks like crime scenes. I don't know where she finds them there or like how she stages these photo shoots, but they look really real. So that's kind of cool. So it's just like, why are there four dead guys in this picture? And it's just
People have an eye for it.
yeah.
Some people have it. Some people know where to look. Some people know how to stage where to look. Some people just know where to put the bodies when you find them.
Okay. Also, she works with kids in her spare time out at the Wonder Valley Community Center. Yeah, so when she's not, yeah, so she teaches the kids um, what kind of like mouse can get stung by a scorpion safely, and like what kind of snake you can pick up with your foot, just things like that.
It's basic elementary level desert survival.
Mm-hmm.
That is, that's a service to the community, is what you're doing. You're really setting up a whole generation of kids who are not going to succumb to being bitten by snakes.
Well, it's all about pick up the snakes and extract the snake piss from them, and it's it's a lost art. And honestly, it's a disgusting disservice that we don't. No one teaches kids that these days.
No, they really don't. Is this the kind of thing that parents have to like have a permission slip for, or is this just a standard curriculum?
The parents don't know. She
Yeah.
just kind of shows up. The teacher hasn't been coming in anymore for some reason, and Joe just kind of, Sadie just kind of, you know, just took over.
Okay, well that was
Everyone goes home with samples
Yeah.
of the product, and what they choose to share with their family after they drink it is ultimately up to what they can remember.
The police came once because a kid, a 4-year-old, came home with a pocket full of tarantula hawks, which is, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a very venomous type of wasp. They're like blue. But as somehow under Sadie's care, the child ended up with a pocket full of these extremely venomous wasps. And I mean, she was acquitted.
The child knew how to handle them. It's in our lessons. That's just poor parenting.
Yeah, I agree. Kids should be taught more useful survival skills, right? I think this is a good thing for everyone involved. Just out of curiosity, do you guys believe in ghosts or spirits?
There's a lot of things you see that don't make any sense when you're in the desert. I don't know what those things are. I can't pretend to know what they are or be able to even explain what they are. But when you see a 20-foot just cylindrical pile of darkness oozing through the desert at 5 a.m. when you're staring out the window. I feel like
Yeah.
what was I talking about?
I had a weird, I don't know, I almost got into a weird trance there for a second when you were talking that it was such a weird
Right.
thing that happened. Anyway, I think you were talking about ghosts and like,
Oh yeah, no, we never seen any. I don't think, but I mean, they're gotta be around, right?
and, I'm sure there's. So would you ever want to do like a paranormal investigation to like find out for sure?
We tried actually. We were in a contest to be the new face of horror, and we were competing against each other. Sadie said that would be the best way to do it, and so we competed against each other to do a ghost hunt with the guy who played Jason in the Friday the 13th movies. Yeah, and then I don't know what happened with the contest. Apparently, a bunch of the contestants disappeared, and then we just stopped getting phone calls back. So
It's crazy how those things happen.
So you didn't win then, so we should just go do our own.
maybe we could probably do that. I lived in a haunted house briefly, but once again, who am I to say what's a ghost and what's a nude man with a hammer?
That's fair. I'm curious though. We've kind of covered some ghosts. We've talked about music. I also want to know, and both of you can answer individually. What's your favorite dinosaur and why?
There's some tension about this in our household.
Iguanodon.
That's not what you were gonna say.
Iguanodon.
It's not what you were gonna say. It's not the one.
Did you know that Rex means king?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's Greek for king. But I like the iguanodon because the iguanodon is the one that's had its thumbs up all the time. So he was kind of like the fawns of the dinosaurs. He was I think he was a herbivore, but he always had these two pointy thumbs pointing up. Can you see this?
I do. I can totally see it. Yeah.
Okay, so he had two thumbs, and they pointed up, and so it was like the fawns of the dinosaurs, and that's why I like the iguanodon.
It's a cool name. I like saying it. Iguanodon.
Mm-hmm.
Great name. Sadie, you mentioned there was some tension in the house about that.
Well, there's been a recent amendment to how to say a dinosaur's name, and we kind of it's not tension necessarily between us. It's more tension because we both were saying it wrong. And then, when you can check things out on the internet, not the old fashioned way, it was just, old wives' tales that are passed down.
Just say dinosaurs, please.
What?
Talk about it. We're actually coming right up to the end of this interview, which is crazy to me that it went that fast. Because I had a super great time talking to you guys. It wasn't scary at all. I rather enjoyed it. Well, I hope we can do it again soon, sometime. Would you guys be into that? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you a few lightning round questions. It's super quick. So you have to be involved. You can answer at the same time. Here we go. Star Trek or Star Wars?
What?
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Don't care.
Frozen yogurt or ice cream?
Frozen yogurt.
Sorbet.
Sorbet. Here's my answer.
Nice. Potato salad or coleslaw?
Disgusting.
Potatoes long.
Disgusting.
Macho Man, Hulk, or Ultimate Warrior?
None.
Ooh. Sid Vicious.
Love that. Let's just end on that note. If anybody wants to get in touch with you on the socials, where should they do that?
I think we're the Caines Family on Instagram, and our band that we write the music for is at evil exclamation mark. But just make sure you compliment us and not the two people who look like us in the band, because we're the real talent here. We wrote the music. Sadie wrote most of it using Yoko Ono's plan.
I love that. I love that. You guys have been probably one of the most interesting guests I've had so far. I've had a great time in the last half hour or so. I hope you guys have too. A little bit? Somewhat? A bit okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And that is it. We're wrapping up another episode of Caring About Wrestling. See you next time. Bye. Bye. Bye.